Hey, I'm Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association. Today talking about non-lethal self-defense. I've seen several arts that I guess that's their marketing, that they're non-lethal self-defense. I've seen tools such as your pepper spray and tasers, non-lethal self-defense. And whenever I hear about this, I always just shake my head and say, if I'm going to learn non-lethal self-defense, can you please guarantee me that the person that attacks me in my lifetime will also use non-lethal force? And of course nobody can do that. So to me, it's kind of silly. I believe this is something I stole from Sergeant Rory Miller in his book Facing Violence. But to teach conduct, to teach a never strike first code, to teach never do more harm than necessary, all these things that a lot of martial arts teach, I can't teach my students that. And the reason is because the scumbags, they don't follow that stuff. That would be putting my people behind an 8-ball. The scumbags, they're going to hit from behind, they're going to cheat, they're going to blitz. So hence I better teach my people that same stuff. My thought is if scumbags are going to use violence as a tool, we need to take that tool of violence and perfect it. We need to be much better at violence than they are. That's the only way we're going to survive a violent encounter. To be meaner, to cheat more. That's why we strike to the groin, we gouge eyes, we teach the stuff that may be thought of as cheating, but to us it's thought of as effective. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh yeah, we teach lethal force, oh that's great stuff. No, that's the last thing in the world I ever want to do, is have to use lethal force. Even if I'm justified, it's going to mess me up. I gotta think it's going to mess most people up if you take a life. And you can certainly be justified in your head and still go to jail and still be sued for everything you have. So it's not that we're bragging, oh yes, we use lethal force, but we've got to have that tool available. If the scumbag is going to try to slaughter myself and my family, I've got to come back at him just as hard. And this is what bothers me about this non-lethal self-defense stuff that's being taught. Suppose a single mom, she's got a teenage daughter at home, there's a home invader breaks into her house. His intention is to rape and murder and torture all night long before he kills them. Why would anyone have taught her non-lethal force self-defense? I'm going to teach her to come from behind and bust a chair over his head and take a piece of that broken wood and shove it down his throat, to stomp on him when he's on the ground, to kick to the groin, to bite, to go crazy. This is going animal. This is the only chance she's going to have. What else are we going to teach her? To take someone down and patiently control them until they can be submitted, or a kata, a pumse. I don't understand why getting people ready for such horrifying events you would even think about soft stuff, non-lethal force. Even when I teach self-defense for women, pepper spray, the tasers, don't put your life in the hands of those things. They're mechanical devices that can certainly fail. There's a certain percentage of the population that pepper spray right in the face doesn't affect them. And I cannot guarantee you that the person who attacks you won't be in that, minority that it doesn't affect. I can see pepper spraying someone in the face as you kick them in the groin, as you break their knee, as you stomp them when they hit the ground. Okay, so therefore we took that non-lethal pepper spray and I guess we Krav Maga'd it up. The other thought with the tasers is, I think the last I heard they work about 49% of the time. The barbs have to hit just right and all that good stuff. So again, don't put your safety in the hands of a mechanical device that fails half the time. The other thing is, civilian tasers, you're going to lock that bad guy down for 30 seconds. How fast can you run? In 30 seconds, he's going to get up and he's going to be mighty upset. He's going to come and hurt you even more. So you got to have a plan for that. I hate seeing, my female family members carry these devices with no training. They're not magic. They may work, they may not. Again, with the taser, it's going to lock him down and he's going to get back up. Most people don't tell you that, or you don't plan for that. If you spray mace in someone's face, it doesn't knock him down unconscious. He may just be in a blind rage and come at you, and if he happens to get a hold of you, you're in trouble. I believe it was Sergeant Kissel with the Gahanna Police Department was telling me, a lady was asking him if she should buy this certain device. I think it was a keychain, like a taser. It put out some volts. And he said, well, let's see. He had a guy come over. He said, zap him with that. And she zapped him, and his reaction was to grab her arm and squeeze really hard. And it scared her. She said, wow, I felt the power in that. If he would have truly meant to do me harm, it might have been more than squeezing my arm. It might have been throwing punches or going at my neck. So that told her right then that device being sold for non-lethal self-defense would get her hurt. So absolutely, these devices have to be trained with. So again, not saying, oh yes, we need lethal stuff, but man, if the bad guys are going to be coming at us, blitzing and going hard and not caring if they harm us, we've got to train that same way, or we're putting our people behind the 8 ball. Mark Slang, United States Krav Maga Association.